Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition, another episode, another season of the Stupid Questions podcast. This is season 3. I'm recording this on January 9 of 2026. Sounds crazy to say because I started recording this podcast back in 2023. I can't even believe that it's gone by this fast, but I want to thank you guys for sticking with me, for continuing to share the episodes and liking, commenting, subscribing, all those things. But today, for the inauguration of this season 3, going to be talking with Morgan Pearson. This is his round 2 interview. For those who don't know him, he is a world-renowned, awesome guy. If you haven't listened to episode 1 with him, the round 1 interview with him, take a little bit to go do that. Gives a little prior context for some of the deeper questions we get into on the back half of the interview. But yeah, great conversation with Morgan. Wish him all the best. And without further ado, I just want to jump right into it with him and allow you to join in on this amazing conversation with Morgan Pearson. So thank you so much, and here we go.
I'm home in Colorado.
Nice. How long you been there?
I got back 2 days ago.
Nice.
Yeah, not long.
Where were you at before then?
Kind of all over the place. I obviously raced Qatar, and then I was back here for a few days. Then I went to Arizona for a few days. Went to New Jersey for Christmas. Went to San Diego. Went to Cabo. Went to back to San Diego, and then here. So just kind of all 3 weeks. Yeah, three and a half weeks of kind of traveling around, taking my break.
Yeah. Do you feel like the lots of travel has helped get you the break that you need? Like the rest? It sounds kind of stressful.
I mean, I by the end I was certainly ready to I'm certainly excited to get back into training and
Yeah.
I mean it was nice because I was really not doing much. Normally when I'm home over Christmas, back with my family, I feel some sort of pressure to train and I do but it's always, I don't know, going and finding a pool that's open or it's not that bad, but or borrowing my brother's car or something, it's always a little, it's not like being at where I live in Colorado, my home here, where it's I'm pretty much
Everything's
set
pretty
up.
convenient.
Yeah, I'm set up to just get stuff done. So, yeah, I mean, it was, some stuff is more fun than others. I mean, yeah, but it was a good break. I needed it. I feel like mentally more than anything, I took a few little, 3 or 4 day periods. But that was my first big break since Paris. I mean, even after Paris, I think I took I didn't really take a break, but it was more just a mental break. So yeah, honestly, it's my first really big break since before Paris. So, yeah, I think I needed it. I mean, I'm definitely a little bit out of shape now, but it's a long, it's a long year ahead. So I'm not, I'm I did my first little workout this morning. So yeah, I'm happy to be back. I hope, the fitness kind of comes back quick, which it usually, it does, and kind of start building a big base for a long season.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. So you were saying physical break versus mental break. In the past, you've taken more of a mental break. Does that mean just no structure, or you're not thinking about training, but you're still going out swimming, biking, and running? What does that look like versus the physical aspect?
Oh, I mean, I'm more I don't think in terms of physically I needed 3 weeks away from training. I don't think if you're trying to make gains, that's necessarily that's a long time. But mentally, I I had a pretty big, big year, did lots of different things, some changes, some, just a lot of different stuff. I mean, in the, from September to December, I was basically, it'd be 1 week on the road and then 2 weeks home training, trying to recover from being on the road, recover from racing, get in what training I could, and then back. And it's just it's just a lot of discipline of it, just staying locked in, and that's harder when you're traveling and you're eating food, you're not at home, you have to be, choose, it just makes for a difficult. It's not hard, but it's just more straining. Um,
Hmm.
so like, I took 10 days off of like nothing, which is honestly like that's plenty of time of like physically. I mean, I'm not a coach. I don't actually know, like, and I'm sure everyone's different, but like,
Sure.
um, I think like just mentally getting a big recharge. And like it's funny, like I mentioned I went to Mexico
Hmm.
um for a few days, and like I definitely got some stomach bug because I
Oh,
went for this.
shoot.
I was like doing my first long run, 13 miles
Hmm.
on Tuesday, and it was like the day after we got back, and like my stomach was really upset, my energy level was really shitty. um you know I had to take a few bathroom breaks and all that, and like I was just like mentally like, but I was like, wow, like I don't actually like, usually I'd be like really like I feel like in the middle of a long season or the end of a long season, you're like, this sucks. Why do I do this? Like,
Yeah.
it was like a realization of like, oh wow, like mentally, I actually feel like I'm not enjoying the unfortunate parts, but like this is
Hmm.
still like I'm still like enjoying being on this run, and I think that was just a sign of like, okay, like mentally, I'm ready to go. I mean, physically, like I'm a little bit off. My stomach's still a little bit upset even today, so
Sure.
maybe energy levels are still even a little bit low, but like, yeah, mentally, that's what's important. I
Yeah.
think the training, if you can train and get back in shape, like it always, I always say like your fitness leaves quicker than you think, but it also comes back quicker than you think too. So,
Hmm. Do you find that you're mentally sharper now than you ever have been in the past, or would you even say that that's a thing?
oh, I mean, I'm definitely not, like even, yeah, I meant to, no, I wouldn't say I meant like in terms of like being dialed, and like now that I'm back in Colorado and like I am trying to like build up some good habits and that sort of thing, like it is still a bit still not easy for me. I'm just like, I'm not like, oh, uh, you kind of got to build those habits a little bit too. So I think I'm just kind of there now, in that like, okay, what's my process? Like, what do I need to do? I'm also like, I have to do a few more little trips. They're more triathlon related than um, like break related in the
Hmm.
next few weeks. So it's like, I think part of me is like a little bit like, like I can't really lock in, because then I'm going to Portland next week for a few days, and that'll be kind of a pain. And then I'm going to London at the end of the month, and that's just like,
Hmm.
it's just like these little like interruptions that like it's
It's
just
hard
a
to
bit
plan around.
annoying. Yeah, so I think maybe when I get back from London, that'll be like give me plenty of time to like have my my big break postseason, and then now this period's kind of just like getting back in, building good habits, and yeah, hopefully February is just like a super excellent month of training, and
Hmm.
yeah, and yeah, we'll see how that goes.
What are the good habits that you want to build or you want to see cemented for the year?
I mean, some stuff like just like getting in, just like first off, like eating really clean and healthy, like which is like honestly a balance of like when you're training, 30 plus hours a week, like you got to get in the right fueling and stuff. So it's just like building good habits of like eating, and it's not just like, yeah, like that's a good example. I mean, just for example, like before every run, I like to do like a little mobility set, and just use like the massage gun to kind of loosen up the muscles, like doing that every morning. I like to do like a smoothie at night. That's just like super good nutrition, and like all that stuff's like, it's not a big deal, but when you haven't done it in a while, it's just like, oh, I'm tired. I just want to like, let me just go out the door. Like I feel behind, so just like good habits like that. I mean, I got some other ones. Yeah, like doing some core stuff, some activations before I'm getting on the bike. I have lots of little things I like to, I like to use a sauna, like stuff like that, where it's just like building that stuff in to my routine, around
Mm.
training. It sounds small, but like when you're training a lot and tired, it can be, if it's not a habit, it can be kind of a pain.
Yeah, for sure. Hmm. One second. So yeah, like good habits, obviously that's super foundational. What kind of pressures do you feel going into this year? Because like and I'd be curious to hear actually what you have going on in Portland and London, if you're able to say. But are there things that are like kind of pressing down on you that you're thinking about that are going to take focus away from, like you're talking about building up those good habits and kind of setting the tone for the year?
I mean, I'm going to Portland for it's like an athlete summit for Hoka,
Okay.
um, which is cool. I mean, they give us time to train and stuff. And like, I missed it last year. Like last year was my first year with Hoka, and I literally had just signed with them. I think a few days before the summit, so I just obviously it was too late to kind of schedule all that. So I don't really know a ton about it outside of a few emails we received. And then I'm going to the wind tunnel
Okay.
uh, with a uh, in London. So yeah, I mean that's it's all positive stuff. Like I said, it's like it's triathlon related. It's so um,
It's the job.
yeah, and like honestly, like going to the wind tunnel, I've never I went a few times with USA Triathlon for going into Tokyo
Hmm.
uh, because and I guess 2022 we went too. I think no 2023 we went. Yeah, and it's just like but that was more like on the road bike. And now this is for my time trial bike, and all those those small decisions you make on that bike to go faster. So like honestly, going there and spending a day there, and it's a bit of an investment time wise and
Hmm.
energy wise, but like if I can gain, that's a lot of potential gain to be made. So it's and yeah, so I mean it's like it'll hopefully be worth it. I think just given that I haven't been to a wind tunnel on my time trial bike, I've, this past last year was my first season like really racing on the time trial bike, and I just I'm just like figuring stuff out by myself a little. Like obviously I got a bike fit initially in like would have been December or no, I guess November of 2024, but then like um just tweaking things myself and just kind of like seeing what others are doing and kind of trying to make a faster position for myself. Like, and now we can kind of get some professionals involved and maybe go even faster.
Yeah. Do you feel like that you have to like one up yourself this year or reinvent yourself in any type of a way, or are you pretty low key about how you're approaching just going into this new year?
I mean, honestly, like I'm just focused on like the process goal, like kind of like what I was saying with the habits, and
Hmm.
I think the process goals. I mean, I think what I really need to um lock in on is just like having a set schedule and kind of race schedule type thing, and just kind of sticking with it. No, like, or not even sticking with it, but sticking to my plan, and not overreact. Obviously, if I let's say I break my wrist again, I'm not gonna like I can't just go race, but
Yeah.
kind of sticking to my plan. Making adjustments when I have to, but like I really I made some changes in my like my coaching situation at the end of well, it wouldn't even be the end of last year. It'd be like the end of the summer last year,
Hmm.
or mid September. I started, doing things a bit differently, and like I really think that that was really positive for me, and I think it kind of showed in my results. Um, Especially by the end of the season in the T100s, I still have I still have goals to go to LA Olympics. So and I'm obviously going to be doing hopefully a lot of WTS.
Hmm.
So I'm interested to see. Interested is maybe not the right word. I'm excited to see like how I've implemented some stuff and doing stuff a bit differently now. Um, and I think, honestly, I raced China and Wollongong, and like they weren't amazing races, but I do think there were some major positives to them. And maybe I just didn't put together that race, and that was only, a month, not even a month. The first one was like a week after, and then the next one was like another couple of weeks after. So it was so fresh, like who knows, and who knows how much these new training techniques like kind of affected those races. But I think by the time December rolled around and like I'm getting second in Qatar, I think it showed like at least in the T100 it was working. So I really hope to, show myself in the WTS again.
Yeah. What are some of the like positives? You said, there were some positives you brought from it. What were some of those positives that you nailed down that you took with you from those races?
Well, in the past I've had some like back problems,
Okay.
hamstring back, like just posterior chain problems. Even, it's, the biggest year it affected me was 2023. It just was like, honestly, just destroyed my, like I was able to do some okay results, but like it really affected me in a big way. And
Yeah.
then last year it was like in 2024, I keep saying last year, I'm still used to being 26. So
Yeah.
in 24, like I felt like I kind of got a handle on it, but it was also like my position on the bike was just so like ridiculous. Like it wasn't an aggressive, it wasn't a racing position.
On the
And I
TT
just,
bike.
no, my road bike.
Okay.
So it's just like, this is not, um, yeah, I don't know. I just think it didn't affect me as bad in 2024. I think I was kind of managing it. Um, and then even in 2025 in Yokohama, it kind of like I was still feeling my back a little bit. And, so I started working with a strength coach, and I've worked with other strength coaches, but like, I just was like, this is my problem. Like, this is all I was like, honestly, this is all I care about fixing. Like,
Mhm.
obviously there's other gains to be made in the gym, but like just being able to run without pain off the bike and on a WTS. And like, and so for example in China, like, I mean, so I crashed. So there was a WTS in Czech Republic, and I had a really bad crash. um I was extremely messed up, and my bike broke.
Wow.
um so then, and that race was in Czech Republic, or whatever they call it, Karlovy. And so I came back here. I had to like source a bike. My mom helped me like find like before I even, because I was only home for like 6 days before heading to China.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
so it was really stressful. And then also like I left my coach um right after that race, and like, yeah. So I was just like let's just say like I wasn't super confident in my like self in
Yeah.
China. I wasn't confident in my ability to run off the bike pain free. Like I was on it, for example, I was on a new bike. I was still sore. I remember like running the day before the race in China, and I was like, I still feel sore from the crash. And like in the race, it was a weird race. Like a lot of guys were missing, and I got a little like breakaway on the bike, but it wasn't even really intentionally. And like I was scared. Like I was scared to push, because I was like, I'm not
Mm.
used to this position. This is a great opportunity for me to at least get like a decent score. Like so I was just like riding off the front, but like like not going for it, and it was just a weird race
Kind of
like that.
reserved.
Yeah, because I was like, it was like I was like, I don't want to like kill myself and my back blows up, and then I can't even get like a top 10. Like I was like, because I can get a top 10 here if I have a medium run, which I didn't run well. But like just running off the bike, that race, and like not having any back pain, that was like, okay, like that's a good step. Like there was no thought of it outside of it's not there. Because like even in Yokohama earlier in the year, it was just like I could feel it wasn't excruciating, but it was there.
Mhm.
So that was a really big positive. And then I think I came back here, and I want to say I had 2 or 3 weeks at home, and then I went to Australia. So just like a ton of travel, and that gave me some time to get used to the new bike. I was doing some new different style training, and I was like super locked in. And I think in Australia I was just like, and I also like I should mention I've been training a little bit differently biking this whole season, and working on some tactics, and working with a cycling coach who's helping me with that. So, and we even did a bunch of crit races, some actually pretty high level crit races. So going to
Sick.
Australia, I mean, I was like, I felt like I hadn't really had a good chance to test those new skills, because in Czech Republic I crashed. In China,
Mhm.
I was just riding
Kind of behind yourself.
tentatively with the new bike and the crash, and I was just like, I just need to get a medium score. So, yeah, going to Australia, the final, like I felt extremely strong on the bike. I biked really hard. And yeah, like I think my run was basically bad, but I think the first half was really strong and I was moving really well, and I just kind of I hit it a little bit too hard at the beginning. I had some stomach problems, not to make excuses, and I got 11th, and there was a breakaway of like six guys, so like I don't know what my run. It wasn't an awful run. It was just I just went out way too fast, and then I think it had some stomach problems, and but it was just like the first 3K on the run, I was like, I feel amazing. This is the best I felt running in a really long time off the bike. I had the speed. I just like kind of ran out of gas, and like I personally, and I apologize for rambling a bit, but
You're good.
I just felt like in the fall I wasn't really confident in my run shape. So like I just felt like okay, like I know I'm not where I should be as a runner. Like I don't, for whatever reason, the training just wasn't clicking over the summer, and I just felt off. So just like it's hard to it's not really a metric or I mean I guess the metric would be like how hard I bike. Like my normalized power was quite high in Wollongong, and then
Hmm.
just to feel good and just like feel like I can run fast off the bike, and like that's like I had lost that feeling all
Mm.
for a while, and I was like, okay, wow, this is the best I felt. And like I said, whether it was a fitness thing, um which is totally possible. I mean, like going out too fasting, or just like having some pretty severe stomach stuff going on. I wasn't able to kind of complete the job, but I left that race being like the results wasn't that good, but I'm like I think what I've been doing the last few weeks is working, and the whole year on the bike is working, and the lifting stuff's working, and it's just like it made me really excited for 2026. Just like
Yeah.
getting a full kind of winter of training, and hopefully be a little bit fitter and more
Yeah.
confident.
Yeah, I was gonna say it sounds like you're regaining like a level of belief in yourself because of the people that you're surrounded with. Obviously, on the strength coaching, the cycling coaching, and then the running. But that's a
Yeah.
huge piece, I would imagine, like to have that mental clarity to know, like, okay, I believe I'm on the right path, so therefore I can
Yeah,
push.
and honestly, like a 2 months later or whatever it was, I went to Qatar, and like obviously different distance, um, but I really felt that was my strongest run like I've ever done off the bike, like triathlon stuff. Like I just like how I felt, and like I mean I slowed down a little bit, but just like I was running like sub 3Ks for the first like five, like to do that after a you know after like a 2K swim and 80K bike, and just feel like I'm not going all out. I'm just running strong and I had still have full 18K to go. Like I felt that was my strongest run I've ever done. So I was just like, it kind of shows what the training I am doing on the run is working, and like hopefully it kind of can come together next year in the WTIs and continue to work well in the T100 and middle distance. So
Yeah,
yeah, I'm excited. I mean, and now here I am just like out of shape, but
like you
I
said,
kind
it
of
comes back quicker than you think.
yeah, and like I kind of like have a process I believe in now, and I'm gonna. It's just like it's just easier to kind of lock in, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. No, that's super important. How would you? I was gonna ask you like how you compare and contrast the short course world that you've been a part of for so long, and then more of the middle distance to long distance stuff. But I mean, you're kind of doing both of them at the same time. So do you have a preference over one over the other? Like, do you feel, because I know you've been to the Olympics before, you've done that, you want to do it again, but you also have a
yeah,
little bit of pull from the short or the excuse me, the middle distance stuff.
yeah. I mean, I think I like both. I think even talking to my cycling coach yesterday,
Hmm.
because obviously as the focus narrows to the LA Olympics, like it'll be less and less middle distance racing. It's
Yeah.
like knock on wood, I can hopefully qualify again, and like I probably wouldn't do a single middle, like let's say the year's 2028, like I wouldn't even race
Yeah,
on
you
the
really
TT bike
focus.
before the Olympics. And he's like, I still think you should train on the time trial bike because it's good. Like it's really, there's some things you're getting from that, like whether it's muscle activation, just like being disciplined in the time trial position, and that can translate to being, disciplined in an aero row position. So like, the way I look at it is almost they're like complementary to each other. Like I'm just,
Hmm.
doing long course. I'm discovering myself still, and I think one thing I really took away from this like season, from the T100, because I didn't race any 70.3s or anything. It was all T100s. Was like just like taking away some confidence, honestly. Like, for example, like I know the level of swimming in T100 is not the level of of a WTS. Like it's just not. But I was consistently like either leading out the swim or getting, maybe I was getting second out.
Yeah.
And it's just like that, it's one thing to kind of go to a T100 and lead one out, and it's like, okay, cool. But like to be consistently just like in control. And I just remember like sorry. Um,
You're good.
I remember standing on the starting line in Qatar and just being like, I know I'm going to be with the leaders off the swim, and just like that confidence. You know, you can't force confidence, but I just think like there was something to that, and I kind of hope to bring that to WTS a little bit of like, hey, like I actually am a pretty good swimmer. Like, obviously there's some absolute weapons in the water in WTS, but that doesn't mean I can't be top 10 every race. Like, let's just get that done type thing. And then like the reverse side of that is just, I mean, I think, training for WTS, like I always say, like speed is so important on the run, and I'd say for the swim too, and or even on the bike, like having those higher powers and hitting those higher powers, it's like that's gonna help you when you go long. Like I was talking to someone yesterday, and I was like, because they were kind of asking me about like, because they see some pictures and videos of me running in spikes on the track,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, why do you like? They're basically just like, I don't know if they're like saying that's dumb or they were just asking, and I'm like, dude, like I think the speed is so important. Like I'm going on the track, and I'm not going some crazy workout, but I'm practicing running fast, and especially as a triathlete, like you're kind of zapping your legs on the bike and swim, where that speed is maybe going away from those things. So just working on it, and um, I think if I was just doing middle distance, it would be kind of easier for me to like get away from that stuff. Um, and then all of a sudden, like 5 minute pace feels like a sprint, 5 minute mile pace, whereas like
Mm-hmm.
that for me, like that should feel pretty,
Controlled, easy.
yeah,
Not
like not
easy,
easy, but
but
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like it doesn't feel like I'm sprinting. It's just it is. It's a pace that I know how it feels versus like you're just like going as hard as you can.
Yeah. Have you ever been tempted to put your dreams about triathlon kind of more on the back burner and step away?
Just like retire, basically quit.
Yeah. Or is there something else that's ever been a little bit more like has tempted you enticing wise? Like, oh, maybe I should go do this.
Yeah, I mean, I think after Paris, like, I mean, honestly, this whole year, like, it's not like something else was calling my name, but I mean, I kind of like, I started the year in Abu Dhabi and I did awful.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
What am I doing?
I'm not like the youngest guy there at these WTS anymore. Like, or I never really was. I started so late. And then like a few weeks later, I like break my wrist, and it's like the season was just not going well. I just wasn't enjoying training so much. And I wasn't really like having fun so much training, which for me, like I love it. Like I mean, it's like, for example, like coming off my like vacation time, whatever break, like I'm just like excited to get back home and train
Yeah.
and just lock in. So I think that like I think there was a time this past a year ago, or maybe 11 months ago, where things were just not really clicking, and um it's like, well, I accomplished a lot. I went to two Olympics. I have two Olympic medals. um I've accomplished a good amount. Like maybe I just want to move on, like.
Mm-hmm.
But um yeah, I mean, totally.
Do, do you feel like, or have you ever felt, because like you've gained notoriety, like in those things you're talking about, the Olympics and, the results you've had, but as you've continued to gain a following and that notoriety within the triathlon world, have you ever felt boxed in by the perceptions of others and how they see you and think you should do what you should do?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, like because like obviously, maybe I don't understand your
You ever feel
que-
boxed in by people? Like because you have performed in this, you're 32, you know, you're going to finish out your career to however old and you should focus on triathlon. Like people see you as a certain thing and expect certain results. Like have you ever felt boxed in like, "Oh, this is what I have to do?"
No, not really. I mean, I think personally, like I feel like I'm choosing to do this. Like I don't feel um yeah, I don't feel boxed in. I mean, I will say like before this year, I think that there's a certain amount of pressure that comes with the Olympics
Mhm.
of like trying to qualify. And I spoke of some of these back end injury problems I had in 2023, and like it kind of destroyed my ranking. So just like that would probably be the Boston feeling of,
Mhm.
hey, I don't really have I can't even think, like I wouldn't even begin to think about doing like a middle distance race going into Paris, because like for me, like just qualifying was, obviously, it's a unique path because I knew I could do it, but it was like I was struggling with health and getting into races and just like and it wasn't even like I couldn't train. It was just only in the race. I would blow up on the run and just like walk it in, and it's just like, um, that was definitely like that boxed in of like I kind of, and like honestly, there was a few times where USA Triathlon like I respect, like I wasn't getting the results, but it was just like I was a bit frustrated because I was like, I feel like they could help me out a little bit more here or there, but they
Mhm.
were like, no, we can't.
What kind of help are you
So,
talking about? Like financial help or
well, sometimes they'll sub in people for races,
Mhm.
um, and I mean, I'll just to be honest, like before there was a test event in Paris, which is a qualification race, and we had 5 U.S. guys starting, and like I wasn't one of them. I was on the wait list, and I felt that I had been dealing with injuries. I had dealing with sickness too. I got a really bad infection
Mm.
um on my face, and it kind of zapped it. It was, that's a whole other story. I've talked about it other places. But it was just like a lot of health problems.
Mhm.
But like I knew I was like, if I got the opportunity, like I could qualify, um, as long as my back was reasonable.
Mhm.
And there was guys on the start list that like had basically done nothing in their career. Like I don't even know, like, not to be like rude, but like they just got like they were not good. And I'm like, do you like? I was a bit frustrated because USA Triathlon and all of USA Olympic sports, they're like, we want to win medals. That's our goal. Um, and this was like the testament. Even if I didn't qualify, it's like it's an opportunity to see the course before the next year. And like, um, they didn't sub me in, and they had subbed. They were subbing other races, and it makes sense. This is every some maybe in some crazy universe, some of these guys could have qualified, but like in my head, I'm like, there's maybe one other guy who could get a top 8. Um, I'm not saying sub me out for him. I'm saying sub me out for the guy who's ranked 5th out of the 5 Americans and who's never really done much.
Mhm.
So that's an example. But yeah, I mean, I think this past year, like just doing the T100s and you know, kind of getting a little bit better as the year goes and finishing strong. Like I don't feel as like I still am committed to USA Triathlon. I mean, I was talking to my coach yesterday because Abu Dhabi's in it's the first WTS in March, and he's like, "Oh, are you sure you want to go?" And I was like, "Yeah, man. There's for example, there's a relay there, and I'm just like, the relay is an Olympic event. I think it's important to do, like, or at least be there. And like, I want to do well, and I want to keep my ranking good for World Triathlon, and I don't want to get to next year where there is a test event and be like not in the top 5, not able to race. So
Yeah.
it's a long way to go, but
So what do you think needs to happen this year for the Stoke to be fired, for your motivation and that belief and that confidence to continue to build? Is it just
I
winning
mean, I think
things?
it's,
Or yeah.
to be honest, like I feel like I'm back already, like mentally. I think, um, like I mentioned, I left my coach mid September, and like I wouldn't, it wasn't his fault or anything, but I think sometimes you just need to change. I
Need
mean,
change?
I was with him going into Paris, during Paris, for the year after Paris, and then I just like, I don't know, but for whatever reason, I just wasn't enjoying. I don't know, like maybe the training was just too much, like just a few years of doing the exact same stuff. Um, Maybe I lost my joy. Like obviously, like finish, like having strong results is always like that's bringing some joy too. Like let's just be honest. So,
Sure.
um, but yeah, I think it's already back. I mean, I think that was a big reason too why I did want to take a somewhat serious break, mental break, because if there was one thing that was kind of wearing on me, it was just like the travel and just then it was such a long season. I mean, I raced last January, like I raced a year ago. I mean, a half marathon running, and then the first WTS was like, what was it, February 7th or something? Like it was
Hmm.
so early, and then the last T100 was December 13th. So it's like
It's a
that's just a
long time.
long year, and I just was like, let me just take a like. And I know I was traveling around, but trust me, doing a 2 hour flight feels a lot different than doing an
Yeah.
18-hour flight. So it's just like mentally, I was just I think I needed that recharge, and like now I'm home, and just excited to like start hopefully feeling myself a bit in training, and just I mean I'm really excited about the new stuff I'm doing in training. Um, yeah, I can see myself doing really well this year, and that's just driving me.
Good. Awesome, man. Well, I want to shift gears a little bit. We talked a little bit about your obligation going out to the athlete event for Hoka. I'm curious to know a couple of things. First, do you enjoy the business side of being a professional athlete?
Um, Not really,
Yeah.
honestly.
Why not?
Well, first, like I was just doing an invoice. It's like I don't like that stuff.
Yeah.
Um, it's just annoying. Um, and then it's highly competitive, which is fine because it's a sport and it should be competitive.
Hmm.
But I find it also highly frustrating because I mean I'll just say it, like I really think I'm like I think I mean I am ranked number one for US in the middle distance, and like the PTO rankings are like, and I'm still someone who doesn't have I don't have a bike sponsor. Like
Yeah. What's that about?
I have two Olympic medals. I've done 170.3 and won it. Uh, and I know T100 is not as popular. Maybe some of the races my race selection, and I know that, but I want to race the best guys in the world. Like I'm not.
Shying away from it.
Yeah, like I'm not. I went to like Indian Wells last year, and like it was a cool race, but like I don't, unless I'm trying to get a qualifier for 70.3 worlds. Like I personally, I just like that doesn't excite me. Like I want to race Hayden Wild. I want to race Matt Hauser. Like that's
Mhm.
what's driving me. So and I think that was kind of like something I thought, in this past couple of weeks of like, what do I want to accomplish this next year? Because part of me was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do T100s. Maybe I should just do some like domestic 70.3s and try to win those. And like maybe I could get some good sponsors. And well, I have good sponsors. I don't want to like
I hear
Hoka's.
like a bike sponsor would be
Yeah,
huge.
like
I mean, for
maybe I
someone
could
of your
get,
caliber.
yeah, like a bike sponsor or something. So it's a bit frustrating. Um, it seems like some guys can just kind of like invest a lot in social media, and like I feel like I've even done that myself, but obviously some people, their style clicks more than others, and like not that mine hasn't clicked, but it's just I'm never going to be not myself. So
Yeah,
um
that's fair.
yeah, it can be a bit frustrating, but I also like, I think one thing this past year is like I just kind of stopped, I don't want to say I stopped caring, but it's like
Kind of.
you just kind of not, you kind of got to care, but just on the outside. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have to care like enough to send emails and, bother my manager and that sort of thing. But like, if you get dropped by a sponsor, like you can't let it, it's not like an attack on me personally. Like,
Yeah.
or
You got to separate it.
if a bike brand is choosing to sponsor someone who's like just going to win some easy races around the US, like that's fine. Like and honestly, it makes sense. Like there's lots of age groupers there.
They care about sales.
Yeah, it's a business for them. So, you can't really, it's almost like you have to care about the positives, but the negatives you can't care about. I don't know if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
No, yeah, it makes sense. I think it's unfortunate the way that it exists. I mean, with our sport, the way it's set up currently, and truly it's still kind of in its infancy, like you're saying, if you want to race the best in the world, T100 seems to have their grip on you guys who are like the top performing, especially across that middle distance coming from the shorter course stuff. So,
Yeah.
and they're not doing all the different 70.3s, but then you have the sponsors who have existed a little bit longer around like the Ironman brand and whatnot. So they want eyeballs, they want sales. That's how they survive.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to know, like, if you could design the perfect athlete sponsorship relationship, like what would that look like?
I mean, I'm interested in this question. Can you just maybe just like go into a little more detail, like what you're asking?
Yeah. So like right now, based on what we're talking about, is like, a bike sponsor comes to you, hey Morgan, yeah, we want to give you 2 or 3 free frames a year. Here's a little bit of this bonus.
Right.
If you show up at these races, you'll get an appearance fee. And, what we really care about most at the end of the day, they're going to say is like, we want eyeballs. We want to get potential sales. Is,
Yeah.
is the perfect athlete sponsor relationship like, hey, they give you the stuff, that's it, because they believe in you and just don't
I mean,
require any deliverables, or?
like honestly, like and I don't want to pigeonhole myself, but I see like the guys that are like working with Canyon bikes and and I and that you just they're dialed, like you could tell, and I don't know what they're being paid and their bonuses, and honestly, like that, I feel like that's not what you're asking. I think you just see the setups those guys have. They have amazing front ends, and it's designed, built by Canyon.
Yeah.
I mean, they have those like the rear bottle holders. That's basically like a fairing, and like Canyon is, obviously, I'm sure Hayden has a lot of input, and Jan had a lot of input, but like they give the input, and then I think their engineers,
They go for it.
their team kind of go from there, and like build them the fastest bike they can, fastest triathlon bike they can, and like to me, like that's a really, I like that's something I almost like envy that a little, like
Sure.
it's just like I would love, because like I'm not, and honestly, like I am trying to be more of like a gear geek type person, but I'm just not. Like I come from running, like it's put on a pair of shoes, and
Go fast.
obviously, there's super shoes now and that sort of thing. But like even when I'm testing super shoes, like I just like I go by like I think there's a really like feeling that you need, like I remember like one time I tested, this was a few years ago before I was with Hoka, and we went to the training center, and like one shoe like tested better than another. Of course, we were testing on a treadmill, running
Mm.
6 minute mile pace, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna go with the one I like, because the feeling of running off the bike after 40K biking and 1500 meter swimming, running sub 3 minute K pace is like, I mean, and I know there's science and these guys are smart. I'm not discounting them, but like there's a feeling that I when you feel good,
Yeah.
it's gonna propel you forward, like physically and
Yeah.
mentally.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So like I would love a relationship where it's like this is what I feel like, we can run some tests, but like where I could give input and they go and come back. I mean, that's something that's pretty cool. I mean, and I think Hoka next week actually they're like they have some new shoes coming out and they want us to test, and they even sent us surveys of like what we're looking for in a shoe, in training shoes. So I think they're pretty good.
Yeah. Running shoes is so interesting, or just running in general, because like everybody, from the moment they start walking as a younger child, you start to build on these mechanics for like what propels you
Yeah,
forward, and it's like everybody can have the same pair of shoes, but some people are going to be faster than others just because of the way that their forward lean is, or where they're striking, or whatever.
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, that like I think that's so true. I mean, you go back, when the super shoes first came out, like obviously there was big differences in the shoes, but now I feel like it's like you said, it's almost
It's narrow, yeah.
yeah, it's there's differences, but it's more individual too. It's like this shoe is good for you, this shoe might be good for me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like even the Hoka's, like there's the Rocket X and the Cielo. They have two super shoes, and people will ask me like, "Oh, which ones do you like?" And I say I like the. I mean, I like both, but the Cielo is like kind of my go-to. But I was like, but I'm on my I'm like on my forefoot, like I'm running somewhat fast. Like if you're like a 4 hour marathoner or a 3:30 marathoner, you might want the rock and more of a heel striker. Like the Rocket might be like the better choice for you. Like so, it's not just one, you know, as they say, like it's not just one size fits all,
Yeah.
which is cool, I think.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, that's the same with anything. Biking, I think it's a little bit different because it's a little bit more a simple movement. You're just pedaling in a circle. It's like you're not really making contact with the ground.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but I also think like like obviously the bike itself, the frame,
Hmm.
the components is something. Yeah, like it's a little bit interchangeable, but like when you get down to like
The
the
front
front
end stuff.
end,
Yeah.
what crank length, which pedals you're using, I think can be a pretty can make a maybe not significant differences, but can make big differences when
Hmm.
especially over time.
Yeah. Switching gears a little bit. When training and racing, like how do you determine whether you're off, if you have like an off day, how do you determine if that's more fitness, maybe getting sick, tactics, or something deeper, like mentally? Do you take a stock of those things?
Yeah, I mean, like I try to like honestly like I'm someone who's almost like if I feel sick, I'm going to rest. Like I'm not, and I know that sounds so simple, but I think a lot of people are if they feel sick, they want to get some training in or something, and like I'm almost like I just want to feel as
Better
close to
sooner.
100% as soon as I can. Like, and in my mind, like if I lose a day or two of training, like, but I feel better on the third day versus, you know, do a little bit for 4 days and then on the fifth day you feel better. If that does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
so that's just kind of my style. I mean, in terms of mentally, like, I think I don't. I think it's honestly mentally harder for me to take a day off than like,
Yeah.
like I feel worse after taking a day off than not taking a day. Like even if I'm just like, and of course there's days where you wake up and you don't want to do it, but um you wake up, you don't want to do it, and then you skip it. A couple hours later you're going to be feeling really bad about yourself
Yeah. Yeah.
versus you do it even if you don't do it like even if your numbers are off or your pace is off or
You did.
maybe you cut this swim short or something like you're still going to be like, well, I what's you went there and did it and I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I'm
Yeah.
curious. This is kind of a random question and thought, but so whenever I go swimming, I don't listen to any music or anything. I just kind of get in the water, and oftentimes,
Yeah.
especially for the longer sets that are more of the relaxed days, you're kind of just your thoughts are floating around. You're thinking about different stuff. I often process work things or conversations I had that are a little bit more stressful. What are the things that you think about that come up in your thoughts whenever it's just you under the water and quiet?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not just saying this. I really do think about my technique a lot.
Hmm.
Um, whether that's just like distance per stroke, um, rotation, catch, like, and like that's obviously not all I think about, but I do think it is worth mentioning. Like, especially on those easy days, like all those easy days where I'm swimming more by my, because I try to swim with, I do swim with groups most days. But then, maybe once a week I'll go swim just like solo alone. And like you're saying, like,
Yeah.
and one thing I kind of have been doing a little bit is just like going for time and not even like, so it's not, cause I don't even, it's nice to not even count. Like I'll be like, all right, I'm going to go for 45 minutes and
Mm-hmm.
the plan was 3K, like whatever. Like, um, I am someone like, I'm kind of an anxious person. So sometimes I do think about like, kind of like you mentioned, like you're thinking about your work, and I'm almost thinking like planning out, my next, like, how am I going to get this done? What, like, oh, like I got a race coming up. Well, do I need to go get anything from the bike shop? It's like, kind of that anxiousness of like, like thinking about what you have to do. Maybe it's an invoice for a sponsor or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think like, I think if there's one thing I should mention, it's like, I do think about my technique a lot. I think, if you're like, I think people think if you're a good, and I don't consider myself like an amazing swimmer, but
First out of the water at all the T100s, you're pretty bad. Yeah.
yeah, I'm not bad. And like, I think people think if you're just like a good swimmer, like let's say like for a middle distance, I am a front pack swimmer. Um, I think, oh, you're just like front pack swimmer. You just go out and swim the laps, do the workouts, and you're done. But like, I think actually the better swimmers probably think about their technique more. I mean, you look at those Olympic guys. You listen to interviews, and some of the stuff that they think about is just like, it's amazing to hear. So I encourage everyone, if you're a triathlete or swimmer, like, yeah, like just think about it every day a little bit. I mean, it doesn't
Yeah.
need to be the whole swim, but
It takes I don't know. It takes like training, I think mental training to be able to
yeah,
be that aware, because like how your hand is entering the water, or what your hip is doing versus your chest, or,
yeah,
I'm not anywhere near your caliber, but amongst the age groupers, I tend to have pretty decent swim times, and I do think a lot about swim
yeah,
technique as well. I also do float off into no man's land, but
yeah. No,
you have to
yeah,
be
of course,
intentional.
we all do, and I think it's good sometimes too. Like, I think I actually like, like I mentioned,
Forget
like
what
sometimes,
set you're on.
yeah, like I mentioned that like easy swim I do. Sometimes it's nice just to like, maybe I'll throw fins on, and like sometimes I'll swim with fins and paddles on those days, because like I actually I find it like keeps my muscles activated, and I'm like, maybe I did a hard bike or run in the morning, or both. For example, like I think, I'll put fins and paddles on, and I feel like when you do that, like the technique is like those things. Personally, at least for me, like those almost help my technique. It's at least like an easy distance per stroke style technique, and then
Hmm.
I can kind of shut my brain off a little bit. So
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. And like I also should say, like, I think there's a compound effect of it. Like when you do it for a few years, it's like, it's not just like one day I'm gonna think about my form. You can't just like expect to get better.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
I,
practice.
I would hope most people realize that, but it's like, it's kind of like over the course of a year, you've been doing it every swim, and you're like, oh, like my technique is a lot better, or I am swimming like when I'm going easy, like I'm going less strokes per lap, or going slightly quicker, or whatever it is, or just, yeah, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, it makes total sense. So I have a interpersonal question for you on the deeper side. So last time we talked a little bit about like your qualification for the Olympics and losing your brother, and obviously just the depth of that. I think it's going on 5 years now since you lost him. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, 5 years in a few months. Yeah,
5 years in a few months. Okay.
in a few months. Excuse me,
Okay, 5 years in a few months.
not in a few months.
So for me, I was thinking about what kind of question to ask about this, because I was curious just to first of all ask like how you're doing, and then the second part of that is, for me, like I feel like I just passed 16 years since I lost my dad, so it's obviously a bit longer, and I've grown from a 16-year-old dude to like a 33-year-old
Yeah,
wannabe man now. So there's a lot of different milestones that I've hit, but I have noticed for me, like in my journey of kind of dealing with the loss, that I've hit these different milestones that kind of bring a new level of peace or understanding, or just kind of contentment about, how I think about it. Have you had any of those moments since we last talked a year and 3 months ago? Like any milestones?
Hmm. Well, I mean, I'll answer your first question. Thanks. I'm doing well with that. Like, this past year, like we did it was mostly my mom really. We kind of like had a trail at our high school. Like they built a trail and they like put it in his name. So that was really cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Um, it's just like a little loop, but he was a swimmer, cross country runner.
Hmm.
Um, a lot of his good friends were, not just like but like high school and beyond friends were on
Yeah.
that cross country team. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like milestones or yeah, it's hard to say. Like I think, you know, um, it is kind of weird. Like, um, I think one like somewhat. I don't know if this is answering your question, but I do remember like a few months ago, like I was thinking about maybe when I turned 32, like I was just like, wow, like I'm actually like quite a bit older than Andrew was when he like before because he was 29 when he passed away. So like it's just like that was kind of for me like I'm like 3 years older than he ever was.
Hmm.
I don't know if that's like what you're looking for, but I just in the past I'm
Yeah.
just trying like because obviously you think about it a lot, but I'm just trying to think of like more like deeper thoughts versus
Yeah.
just thinking about him because I'm home over Christmas and
Yeah.
there's his room or whatever, thinking about some funny gift he gave me that
Yeah.
in the past. So I don't know. Like I think that was, I don't know. Like it's weird because like your older brother is like always older than you, and then you're like, well, actually I'm older, and obviously
Yeah.
it's just he's always going to be my older brother. Like I could be an old man one day, hopefully, and I'm not going to be like, oh, that young guy. I don't know.
Hmm.
So
No, yeah, I think that's totally fair. It's interesting you brought that up because, like I said, I'm 33. So my dad was 39 when he died. So as I
mhm.
get closer to that, I'll be 34 this year, and I'm having my first daughter here like literally next month. So I'm thinking about the fact that like he was 39. As I get closer to that age, it almost feels like a little bit of, I don't know if anxiousness is the right word, but I also realize like, wow, that was so young. And I'm sure you have
Yeah,
that same recognition too, because like you're 33, like
yeah,
realizing how young.
yeah. Well, and also like I mean, and I feel like this is more of a common thought. And congrats on your daughter.
Thanks.
But like you just you think about like what they'd be up to if they were still around a little bit.
Mm, mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's common or not. Like even just like being home, and it's maybe just that time of the year, like coming off Christmas and the holidays, whatever. You're just like, oh, like what? Because like he didn't live in Colorado; he lived in New Jersey. I saw him over, like just like, oh, what would he like? I wonder what he'd be up to. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, I've had those thoughts too, especially around like, things that I go through. Like, oh, how would he have reacted to being a grandfather or
right.
and that kind of stuff? Or for you, it's like, how would your brother have felt about you actually, post Olympics and then seeing the success that you've had and, watching you go through life and try to find a bike sponsor. Yeah.
No, I have a bike sponsor. It's T100.
There you go.
Once they pay us.
Yeah. If you could have any bike sponsor, it would probably be Canyon if you could decide, right? That's kind of what I'm
No,
hearing.
I don't. I mean, I could tell you who it wouldn't be. I wouldn't say it on here, but I really am not picky. Like, I, I, I think like one that is committed to making a fast bike and committed to their athletes like being at the top level is, which like most bike brands will say that, but
Actually putting the resources and the team behind
yeah,
it to do it.
exactly. Like, and
Yeah.
I just brought up Canyon because it's
They're
you
kind of
see
the
the work
pinnacle
they
of
do with
that.
their athletes, but like there's other bikes like that too. I mean even like a brand like Cube, like with which I know they'll never sponsor. They're purely European, but like their work with Lucy Charles,
Hmm.
like you could just tell like they're really dialed and that sort of thing. So it's like, I don't, first off, I don't want to pigeonhole myself, but I also like, that's just not true either. Like I mean, there's certainly bikes I like. I mean, I honestly, like, I ride a Trek Madone, road bike, and I love that bike. I mean, I've ridden more road bikes than time trial bikes, so it's a little easier
Yeah.
for me to like, but the new model is like, I just find it to be an amazing bike. So yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens. Are you working on anything in the background that you're not allowed to talk about that you could hint at?
Um, no, I mean, maybe, I don't know. I'm talking to I like, for better or for worse, I like give my manager the reins on that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's annoying. And that's honestly, not to bring it back to one of your other questions of like the business side,
No,
but
please do.
one pet peeve of mine is when brands are like, we don't like working with managers. It's like, dude, come on. Like, cause
Let me
I feel like that,
deal with my business people.
yeah. And it's like, I think that's like, and there's certainly, like, for example, like I'll have a new sponsor and they're in Boulder, and I think you'll meet them in person, and it's it's not like a unique sponsor, but there's some unique aspects of it,
Mm-hmm.
that I kind of like. I mean, my manager was there, but he doesn't live here, so it was just like easier for me to do that, and I just wanted to. And but that is a pet peeve of mine when like a brand manager's like, yeah, like we actually don't like working with managers. It's like, why? Because they're gonna ask for money, and you, or like more or less, like, and you just have to say no. But like, don't you want what's best for, like, it's kind of like a weird situation of like, don't you want what's best for your athlete?
Yeah.
Like this guy is literally in place, or this guy or girl, to look out for me and get what's, like, isn't that, as a guy, you want me to do well? Because like ultimately, like, we're all trying to work towards the same thing, like getting results, whatever, or maybe for some people getting YouTube views, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
um and clicks, which is fine, like getting marketing, like but in theory, like I don't know, it's just a bit of a pet peeve of mine, and something that I've kind of had to like,
Learn to
as
be
I've gotten
okay with.
older, of like, you almost got to not care so much, like kind of like what
Mm-hmm.
I said about like the negatives of like just not caring, of like, if a brand is like, if my manager asks for like a little bit more base, or like some extra bonuses, and that's like turning them off to the point where they're just like, no, like, then that's ridiculous. And they're the ones that need to get their stuff together, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, it's so interesting. Like I love business and I really enjoy process and I like negotiation and stuff, but for some reason, I don't know, like I dabbled in the world of what it would be like to be a manager slash, representative for other athletes or even brands. And it's like, I don't know. It seems like a conflict of interest on the friendship side because like we're
Yeah,
friends and then all of a sudden I get picked up by the feed or whoever else and then they want me to negotiate with you on basically like trying to get as most out of you as possible for giving you the least amount of whatever.
yeah,
And then that like throws in a wrench on the relationship and friendship. And
yeah.
I was like,
No, I
I
mean,
think I'm going to stay away from it.
yeah, and I get that side from them too, because they are trying, for them, like, if they pay like, if a brand pays you $100, in theory they should be getting more than $100 out of it,
Yeah.
because it's an investment.
Capitalism.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like, I don't think you asking for $150 should, like, I just wish it was a little bit less, like, I don't know. So I feel like some of these brand people are like, they take things personally almost, if that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah. So hopefully I didn't hurt anyone's feelings.
Would you like
And
to
maybe they
spell their name
don't.
for me?
Maybe
Yeah.
that's just a personal problem of mine. But
Well, do you consider yourself pretty blunt? Like, I would say like you seem pretty like to the point and
yeah, I mean, honestly, like, maybe with some things, but I think, with like, I wouldn't say I'm like an excellent negotiator and this and that. And like, I think it's almost taken me this past year of just like not, like, I honestly just like don't care as much. Like, what I care about is performing well, and like, I, you know, I want brands that are interested in that too. And if you like, yeah, if you're just trying to like squeeze stuff out of me, that's like, it's just like, I don't need you.
Yeah.
I'm lucky now because I do have sponsors that support me in that way. And I, hopefully can keep racing well and make prize money where it's like, I don't need to be like, oh, I'm going to wear your helmet, even though it's like not super aerodynamic or something like, like I'm almost like, I want to like pick brands, whether they, either hopefully they want to work with me or just like not have a sponsor type thing.
Yeah. So you can have the best piece of equipment.
Yeah. Cause I at the end of the day, like I want to do well. And, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Last couple of questions for you. What makes a good manager?
I mean, there's lots of things. Like I think a good negotiator, obviously, there's different, no manager will be perfect. Like there's guys that have amazing connections. There's guys that are really good negotiators. I think like I think for me, is like the support. Like I think, I've seen managers, who are there to help their athletes perform with it, and that's not from a coaching standpoint, but they really care about their athletes' performance and how are they going to support their athlete financially with sponsors, but also like I think a manager should be like, how are you accomplishing your goal? Like, what can I do to help you accomplish your goal? What do you need? Like, if that makes sense, versus just like, oh, I got you the biggest amount of money from this brand. Like you see it more in running because there's certain guys that like they have like these crazy deals, but like they just have to train alone and like they don't have a coach. They'll like you see it with high schoolers sometimes, where it's like they will sign with or like or just like these random brands where it's I think of someone like a brand like On and like I mean obviously I'm with Hoka, I'm not it's a rival, but I mean I'm not a runner. You see like the OAC, like I don't know what those guys' salaries are, I don't know this or that, but like they built a team that's all about performing well, you know what I'm saying? Like and like I just think if your manager sees that side of the sport of like, hey, it's not just about
The dollars.
the amount of dollars you can get, but it's about, oh, like how are these brands really helping you perform? Because ultimately, like you go out and you win a world title, like then you could have whatever sponsor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Performance has to kind of be the ultimate goal.
yeah, exactly. I think that's important.
Yeah. So last question for you. If you had to delete every metric except one as it pertains to training data, so pace, heart rate, watts, RPE, DPS, whatever, what are you keeping and why? This is a chat GPT question. Let me know if it sucks. I won't include it anymore.
Can I do two?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I'll do like rate of the effort, and then I'd say like volume, like being able to count like the number of out, which I don't even know if that kind of is a metric or not. It kind of,
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I mean, it's a metric, but
tapering and yeah.
yeah, like I just think like being able to be consistent with like your volume and then the effort of each workout. So for and then within that, like the volume of the interval, like oh, this was 10-minute interval of 3 out of 10 or something. So
Yeah,
I think if you have those two, time and effort, you
Rate
can
of perceived
get pretty
exertion
far.
effort.
Yeah.
Cool. Sweet. Well, Morgan, thanks, man, for
Yeah,
jumping on with me
appreciate it.
round 2, a year and 2 months later. Yeah, this is the first episode, going to be the first episode of the 3rd season. So thanks for being part of
Cool.
that milestone with me. And yeah,
dude.
wish you all the
Congrats
best.
on having a daughter soon.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Best of luck with that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much to Morgan for jumping on the pod. Great conversation with him. Yeah, it's just great to be back. Season 3. I cannot believe it. I was a little nervous going into this because I'm just a little off my game, I guess. I haven't done this in a while. I even, in the beginning of the episode, had the wrong microphone selected, so sorry about that. But yeah, great conversation with Morgan. Wish him all the best going forward in this year. It's such an honor to be able to have these conversations and see these athletes or business founders and musicians or whatever go through their lives and get to just get a little bit of a peek into the backstory of what's going on for them mentally and how that affects their growth. So, yeah, really appreciate it. Thank you, Morgan. Thank you guys for being here. And I will be catching you very soon in the next episode. So, thank you and have a wonderful day. Peace.